think all the hassles of moving to a bigger room is a testament to these two gentlemen that I'm going to call up here right now. I don't think I need to introduce them by reeling off a bunch of names. I think you all know a lot of the names of the people they've worked with: Janet Jackson, Usher, Mariah. 26 R&B #1, 16 pop #1s, together 25 years, friends for 35 years. And I think the fact that the room downstairs was filling up and they had an overflow that just, again, attests to their popularity and what they're going to bring to the table in terms of sharing some knowledge with you guys out here in terms of songwriting and producing. So without wasting any more time, I'd like to bring on Jimmie Jam and Terri Lewis.
Everything that we do with Lifetime, and a great songwriter, originally with Sounds of Blackness, and is going on to be really the third piece of the band.
So I guess we'll get started with just a little bit of background, just how you two came together, and then we'll start talking about the process, what it is you guys do, who does what in the studio, working with the different artists. So a little bit about your background.
Okay, our background goes back about 30 years. It's so long, but it's so near because it seems like it was just yesterday. I met Jimmie Jam at a program called Open Bound, which was a gifted youth program where we both had been brought in to be peer teachers of math. And I saw him one day in the lunchroom playing music and just tinkling on the piano, serenading a couple girls.
I thought that part of the story. I don't remember the serenading girls. I do remember the lunchroom with the piano.
And I thought that was so cool. And at the end of that program, there was always a dance, and I had put together a group of guys. I didn't call us a band at that point. We wanted to play something. I asked Jimmie to play keyboards, but at the time, Jimmie was a drummer. And I said, well, your dad plays keyboards. You know, I have my own life, so. He said, cool. We went and stole his father's keyboard and we played our first gig together as musicians. We played some Tuesday Heartbreak, I think it was, Stevie Wonder, and
Soul Vaccination,
Power. We just kind of jammed on some things.
The thing he leaves out about the fact that I was a drummer, and then Terri said, well, I already got a drummer. And I said, I'm a drummer. And he said, well, here's my drummer. And it was Jelly Bean Johnson, who was a drummer from the time. And I said, I'll play keyboards, man.
As a fine keyboard player he is.
So you were in the group together. I think everybody knows it was the time.
It turned into the time. It didn't instantly happen. It was over a period of 7 years. But it was 7, 8, 9 years actually, because it was 72 when we met that summer.
We actually were not in the same band. We actually played the rival bands.
Okay.
And in Minneapolis, there was a set of bands. There was Flight Time, there was Grand Central, which was Prince and Morris and Andre Simone, and there was Jimmie Jam's group, which is mine and Matt, and several other groups, but principally those three groups we used to buy for all the little available gigs. And you had to be on your stuff, man. You had to practice. You had to know. And we used to go out. We used to kill folks, and then some days we used to get killed. It was a time that Jimmie's group set up in this little club, and we went in, and there wasn't that many people that night. And they went on first, and they just wrecked us. And then all their people left.
You gotta bring your own fan club with you.
That was like, because he has a singing group. Yeah. And it was like 3 people in the audience that we went on. It hurt me to my heart. So I went out and recruited some new players. And I think the next time you saw us was at the festival outside.
Outdoors,
Yeah, and guess what?
You guys want to produce something on the next SOS band now? Because we didn't produce it. Actually, Leon Silvers ended up producing the song, and he said, "What would you have done different if you would have produced it?" And we said, "Oh, we would have put some chili sauce on it." And he said, "What is chili sauce?" And we played him the demo, and it just was a lot looser and a lot, funkier. And he said, "Chili sauce, I like that." Okay. So anyway, we fast forward. We ended up going to Atlanta to produce the SOS band, but it was during the middle of the time, tour, and we got stuck in a snowstorm. I mean, and a snowstorm, by the way, in Atlanta is about that much snow. I mean, it was nothing. And coming from Minnesota, we couldn't shovel the road. Yeah, we couldn't shovel the roadway ourselves. We were like, come on, let's get to the thing. Subsequently, we missed that gig, which was in San Antonio that night. And later on, Prince kind of laughed about it because he thought we were going down to see some girls. He said, that's what y'all get for going to Atlanta to go see some girls. Later on, it came out in Billboard magazine. There's a picture of us with the SOS band. And it's like in a movie, you ever seen a movie where something's, like in a magazine or something, you're trying to hide every copy of it, so somebody does, that's what we were doing. Like, we didn't want Prince to see a Billboard magazine. And, of course, eventually he saw it. So now the tour ended, and fast forward to 2 months later, and this is sort of the pivotal moment after the snowstorm for us, was we got called the same night we were going to mix, Just Be Good to Me. We got called to Sunset Sound to work on the timeout. And so when we got there, the accountant was there. And we looked at each other and said, we're going to get fired. I know. They're going to give us our last paycheck and we're done. But the accountant didn't say nothing to us. He just said, y'all have a good session, all right? I'll catch y'all later. I said, okay, good. So we walked on the session and Prince goes, I told you guys not to produce outside the time. We're like, yeah, Prince, but I told you not to give away the time sound. Well, it doesn't sound anything like the time, Prince. That's not what we're trying to do. You guys are fired. So I just said, okay, and I got up and left. Terri stayed in the room, argued, pleaded our case a little bit longer, I guess. So then finally, when Terri comes out, he says, we kind of are going, what are we going to do? And we said, well, I guess we'll go over to the other session and mix the SOS band record. When we walked into that session, there was an engineer named Steve Hodge, who had mixed a ton of stuff that we loved, and it was the first time we were working with him. And we walked in the studio all dejected looking, and he said, what's wrong with you guys? And we said, we just got fired from the time. He said, He said, okay. Well, I don't think you guys have anything to worry about because this song y'all got here, this is a hit record. We said, okay. And about 6 months later, about 4 months later, that record was a hit record. It was called Just Be Good to Me, SOS Band. So you know and really at that point, our production career was going. And a quick footnote to the story, we weren't actually fired. It was a bluff. Because every week we'd go to the accountant, we just kept getting our checks. We thought, well, we're fired, but we'll just keep going getting our checks. And one day the accountant said, he said, I can't give you your checks this week. I said, how come? He said, we heard on the radio that you guys got fired. We were fired a month and a half ago or whatever. But it was a bluff. It was kind of like Prince's way of saying, we'll get you guys to come back by firing you. It didn't quite work out to the plan, but it's part of why we're sitting here right now.